everyone, good morning. Yes, it's me, it's Alex. I am back and doing another Guild Wars corner. Yes, it's really here. I have not done a Guild Wars corner in about a year and a half, actually, at this point. Maybe a little bit more. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but pretty much it all boils down to real life. I had a lot of real life changes happen. Got my wife living with me now, and that's done a lot of changes. So it took a little time to figure out my schedule and how to get my schedules correct and getting her set up. And now things have calmed down quite a bit, and I think I can actually get some playtime in. The thing is, and this is kind of the odd thing, is that the best time for me to play is actually in the morning. So I'm actually playing this before I go to work. I actually wake up a little bit early, about an hour or two early before I go to work, and then I try to get some game time into Guild Wars. Now, a lot's happened since my last Guild Wars corner, and probably the most significant news recently is the fact that Guild Wars Guru is shutting down, and it will go inactive in June of this year. Now, one thing that they have mentioned, however, is the fact that even though it will no longer be taking any more new users and it will not be posting any more new content, the site itself is not disappearing completely. It's going to go into an archive mode. Now, the thing is, how long that is going to be, nobody knows. So if you have some special information, you may want to keep it, but if you've got the information that they will be closing down, don't worry, they will not be closing down as in a sense of disappearing. They'll just be closing down that you cannot post anymore. So keep that in mind. Now, there's been a new set of forums that's been created recently called Guild Wars Legacy. All one word, Guild Wars Legacy. I'll put it in the video description here. They are a brand new set of forums, and make sure you go check them out. This seems to be the new home where everyone is going to do their forum work now, and it seems to be the new forums for Guild Wars, essentially. There's also a few other places that have developed recently to bring people together for Guild Wars, and another one is Guild Wars A New Hope, the Facebook page. So go check that out. I'll put a description as well. And those two all tie together. So that should be a lot of interesting people there. Moving on. One of the key things is what is it about Guild Wars that keeps bringing someone back? I mean, especially myself. Guild Wars just seems to be kind of like that old high school flame, that old high school girlfriend or boyfriend that you move on in life, and it's like 10 years later, and you finish school, you're finishing what you're training for, and you got your job, and you got your car, and you got all this responsibility, and you see that old high school flame with their and they're still wearing their leather jacket, and they're still like being in that mindset of like when you guys were in high school. And it's like, hey, let's go do this. And this is like, man, I've done that like 10 years ago. I've done that like 12 years ago. I've moved on, but there's always that little seed in the back of your mind that, man, things were a lot more fun back then, and you have all these positive memories. And it's like, all right, I'm going to hang out with this flame, or I hang out with this friend from, way back when. But I've moved on. I've moved on to newer responsibilities, or in this case, I've moved on to newer games. I've moved on to games like League of Legends, or Dota 2, or Fallout 4, or whatever we're playing at the moment. It's like, and you just can't go back. But there are a few times when you go back and you realize, you know what? No, it really was that good. And I think Guild Wars falls into that rare category where nostalgia doesn't like overwhelm what made the game great. Now, the graphics definitely are showing themselves. This is now again an 11-year-old game, but the gameplay is very, very good, which is something I've mentioned in previous episodes, even all the way back to episode 1. It's the gameplay that keeps bringing me back. I think it's the gameplay that keeps bringing everyone back, because the gameplay was so good and so special. I've never seen anything like it again. I'm kind of repeating what I mentioned before, but again, this before was a year and a half ago. But it deserves repeating because Guild Wars is just that good. And one thing I realized, 2 of my favorite classes were either taken out completely or pretty much disappeared, and that was the Necromancer and the Monk. Monk needs no introduction. I liked playing the Monk. I like kind of playing that healing supporting role. I liked what they brought to the table. I liked the protections. I liked even the smiting. I thought was pretty cool. I liked the keep them boons, maintain enchantments up, and managing your energy. That was just a lot of fun. Completely gone in Guild Wars 2. And if you are a real fan of the Necromancer, which is especially like myself, it was my primary class. It was the class I first started with. It's a class that I really enjoyed. You got screwed over completely. The Necromancer in Guild Wars 2 compared to the Necromancer in Guild Wars 1 is nowhere near even remotely close. The Necromancer in Guild Wars 1 is a lot of fun. And honestly, I think that's what makes Guild Wars a really special thing that it is, because with the Necromancer, you had to control undead army, you had to manage your health, you had to sacrifice your health. You see none of that in Guild Wars 2. So again, it just really shows the staying power of this game. So for me, that's why I keep coming back to Guild Wars. It's the gameplay. It's not the graphics. It's definitely, and the graphics are good. The art style is great, but it's the gameplay that keeps bringing back. And I hope to do more videos really showing the gameplay, because this really is a special game. So that's what's been going on. Been really kind of doing a lot of solo work. Been skill hunting, picking up some elite skills, and I think I might start doing some videos about elite skills and about building builds, and doing like skill reviews or build challenges to see doing something crazy. And I was thinking, things like you would never do in Guild Wars, just to have fun. Like take for example, you want to have a monk that needs to use meteor shower. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's a 25 energy skill, fire skill that no monk would in their right mind would use. But that's the great thing about Guild Wars. You can do something really crazy, try and build something around that and actually make it work. And you can actually really make it work and have a lot of fun doing it. Or taking a Necromancer and turning him into a frontline sword warrior, which is another thing to play with. And I've been looking to do that. All in PvE, of course. I don't want people raging at me. I was like, what the heck are you doing? And that's the nice thing about henchmen and heroes, is they don't rage as you as much. I mean, they may be dumb as bricks, but they don't rage as much. So that is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see how it goes. Again, I finally have some playtime. Again, it's kind of weird. It's in the morning. But it gives me a nice hour or two to settle in, have some coffee, have some breakfast, so I won't be able before work. Get a little Guild Wars in, or another game if I'm playing another game. Other games being like Darkest Dungeon. I was playing Path of Exile a lot, which is a lot of fun. Kind of similar to Guild Wars. It's an instance game, and it's a lot of fun as well. And what else was I playing? City Skylines. That was a fun game. I'm playing that a little bit, and actually Guild Wars 2. Been spending some time in Guild Wars 2. Again, even though I was highly critical of Guild Wars 2 in the sense of it being a direct sequel to Guild Wars, Guild Wars 2 as a standalone game is actually very good. It's a very good game. Not when you compare it against Guild Wars, but when you compare it against, say, World of Warcraft and SWTOR and several other games, it's a very, very good game. So I've been actually having fun with Guild Wars 2 as well, and been playing with professions such as like the Ranger or the Mesmer. Actually, in case of Guild Wars 2, as long as you're not playing the Necromancer, at least for me, it is actually a lot of fun. And there's several new classes, and I've been starting to work through that. But it's definitely a game that's a grind, a very big grind, and it was designed to be a grind. And that's the real tragedy in some cases between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, is that in one sense, the design of Guild Wars 2 was not just different than Guild Wars 1, it was the complete opposite. So in Guild Wars 1, the design was to get you up to max level fairly quickly. I mean, you can get from level 1 to level 20 in 2 or 3 days, basically, of real heavy playing. And it's no problem. In the case of Guild Wars 2, you gotta get up to level 80, and that is just a long, long road to go. And it was done by design, but again, they're complete opposites of each other. So in Guild Wars 1, it was to get you up to level 20, and then you're in the end game. And half of the game, even the original Prophecies campaign, is level 20 and content, and that's what made it great. It was all an even playing field very early on. In Guild Wars 2, most of the content is getting up to level 80, and then there wasn't any end level content. So that was just another kind of disappointing thing about Guild Wars 2. I mean, the journey is a lot of fun, and I've heard a lot of people enjoy it. And there is now some in-game content for Guild Wars 2, especially with Heart of Thorns that came out last year, and I'm looking forward to playing some of that when I get there. But again, it just shows the difference in design philosophies between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. And I still think Guild Wars 1 was way ahead of its time in its design. And Guild Wars 2 really was, in a design sense, in a gameplay design sense, really was in many ways just a huge step back. That I think they found themselves just falling into the mindset of World of Warcraft. And this was when World of Warcraft was really, really popular back in 2007, 2008. They were king of the world, and Guild Wars 2 really tried to revolutionize, or evolutionize, I should say, the design of World of Warcraft, when frankly they should have, again, my personal opinion is they really should have taken Guild Wars 2, not changed it as much, or should I say Guild Wars 1, and not changed it as much as they did, but definitely revamp it to the point where it felt a lot of new ideas could be brought in. Things like jumping. You could bring in jumping and a lot of the acrobatic skills from Guild Wars 2. That was fine, but keep the instanced gameplay aspect of Guild Wars 1 rather than the persistent world of Guild Wars 2 would have made a huge difference. And if you look at games like Path of Exile or Diablo 3, Reaper's Souls, instanced gameplay is still very popular, and I really am not sure why Guild Wars moved away from that concept to a persistent world. I think in that specific case it was not a wise idea to go from instance to persistent. I think they really should have stayed with instance. So anyways, I'm gonna cut it here. I need to get ready and go to work and get my wife ready for school, so I will talk to you guys later, and hopefully there will be more videos to come. Alright.